I have been wanting to make a table runner for a while now. It's not very wide, as you can see. So it's about, maybe 18 inches across, and then it's probably 3 yards long, maybe 2.5 yards long. So it's not really big. But what I wanted to show is the patch and then the embroider work on it. So what I'm doing is I'm doing some baby's breath, and I am working off the patch. So to secure the patch is going to be embroidery. Now at first I did a running stitch, a very wide one, a basting stitch, just to keep it on. And then I just tacked it down in little tiny tacks just to keep it down while I work. And I had this vision of going off, like starting here at the bottom and then going up and then off the patch, onto the patch and off to the patch, off the patch. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm wanting to go even bigger all the way up here and just have like a big branch of baby's breath. So I just wanted to show you what I'm doing. I've been using some embroidery floss, and right now I'm using 2 strands, but I started off with 1 strand, and just to do the very tiny delicate work. And since this is the main branch, I am using 2 strands, and I'm going to do some couch stitching or whip stitching around this single thread just to kind of give it a little bit more texture, because the main branch is obviously the thicker branch. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I just wanted to share this process with you, and of how to do this. I love this technique of, I don't know if it's kind of like borrow stitching, but this is embroidery over the patch. So it's kind of sort of borrow stitching, but borrow stitching is really just random stitches on and off the patch, or running stitches pretty much. But this is just embroidery work that I decided to do, and wanted to do this on camera. But I will be this is going to be a longer video than my usual short video that I do for showing just quick little things, because I wanted to show some other things that I'm doing on here. So I'm going to do a little bit more work, and then I'll be back. The benefit with you is you don't have to wait a whole day while I work on this. You just have to wait till the next slide over. I have actually worked a lot on this piece, as you can see. So I have most of this baby's breath work complete that I want to do here, and then I just have a few more stems going up like this. But I wanted to add in a little sashiko, and I did some of that and kind of visual mending. It's not really visual mending. This is more sashiko type work here, and I wanted it real sparse too. So, and then I did this right here, kind of like what I'm doing on my quilt. And then I left kind of the middle of the runner blank, because that's where I'll put probably my white crock full of baby's breath. And then I have a sprig here. And then as I go down, I'll probably do another patch somewhere with more baby's breath going off off of it, but it's not going to be, it's going to be very random, almost like somebody came and saw this old tattered table runner or piece of cloth and just laid down some flowers. That's kind of, laid flowers on it. That's kind of the direction I'm going in. So hopefully after I style it and stuff, well, we'll see. Maybe I can get this done in time to show you a picture of what I'm talking about. And then that way you'll see kind of my vision. I'd like to do that at the end of this section here, or session. What is it? Long video. So right now I am just adding all the little flowers randomly, and I do baby's breath in a couple of different ways. Let me focus this so you can, I don't want to get out of frame, which is what I tend to do a lot. So let me see here. Let me zoom out and then back in. There we go. Okay. So I like to do a French knot, and I'm using 2 threads now. Kind of doing it random, but I like to do a French knot in some areas, because if you look at a sprig of baby's breath, it's round, but it also kind of, well, it has a little tiny flower bud on it, on each one of the little delicate little branches. So how I do a lot of the flower part, and this also randomizes the size of the flowers, which flower buds are all sorts of little tiny sizes on baby's breath. So this is how I do the flower bud, or the flower, whatever you call it. You know what I'm talking about. And I do kind of I hate to say a tulip, because it's not a tulip, but I do kind of it looks almost like a little flower with leaves, but it's not. So, and then sometimes I'll do one extra. And then I like to do a couple. I'm not in frame like I want. Okay. I will go back and edit some of these channels and see that I'm way off view. And I think, oh, well, how am I going to fix that? And you can't, because it's off view. And you can't, it's not like you can crop your video and show it, because it was never shown to begin with. Crazy. And some of my best work will be off camera, and I get so upset because I have to edit it out, because all you see is this. As I'm talking. Oh, goodness. The joys of trying to stitch and talk and film all at the same time. Definitely a multitask thing, isn't it? Okay, so let me see. So right now I'm just doing 3 little French knots to kind of give it that little bud effect. So I have these like little tiny, and I do it really random, because a baby's breath flowers are random. They're not perfectly centered and perfectly symmetrical and all that other stuff. Well, that's exactly what I don't want this to be, is perfectly centered and symmetrical. And I'm hitting this. Tell you what, I'm having issues with filming today. It's because I'm trying to talk and sew at the same time. And people say, why don't you just add audio to it later and just talk as you go along? And it's because sometimes I want to explain what I'm thinking at the time I'm making a certain stitch. And if I wait and do kind of an audio dub thing afterwards, I'll forget what I was going to say. So I'm kind of I might as well go live stream on some of these because that's how I operate mostly. And I don't want my channel to be all professional and all perfect and all that, because I'm not like that in real life. I'm a type of friend that you can just sit and have coffee with at the table and talk about any and everything. And that's what I want this channel to be. Very cozy and nonchalant. Nothing serious, just calm and relaxing, because that's how I like to do my everyday life. Okay, so I'm going to finish this little flower bud up, and then I'm probably going to work on this next section over here, up here. I don't have very much more to go, but I wanted to finish at least this baby's breath with you, and again talk about how I think it's very pretty as the flower kind of runs off of the patch, because now it looks like somebody just laid a flower over this worn, tattered piece, and that's what I want it to look like. But it's also white on white, so white on white work pretty much for the most part. This material isn't really white. And by the way, if you want to know where I got this material, this is just painter's drop cloth. And I cut it and then tear it, and it naturally frays like that. And this will only fray to a certain point, and I like that look. Now you can hem it and all that other stuff, but that defeats the purpose of what I wanted this cloth to be. And actually, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to let my grandkids eat on it and whatever, because if it stains, that's okay. That's part of the cloth story. And I'll probably put it down at Thanksgiving. And if it gets cranberry sauce on it and I can't get it out, that's fine too. It's part of this cloth story. And not that I want it to look dirty and dingy, but, well, it may end up looking dingy, but that's okay. That to me is the beauty of things like this. Is if you look at an antique tablecloth, it's going to be very rare where you can find a true antique tablecloth that doesn't have a stain on it, because it was used and loved. And I like my antique furniture like that too, where it's not perfect. You can see like an antique desk where the person was writing a little bit too hard and it got a little bit engraved into the wood or got scraped or something like that. To me, that's beautiful. And I see beauty, I guess, in a different way. But I love handmade things that tell a story. And so all of my work, all of my embroidery work, all of my stitching I use it all. And even if it takes me forever and a day, I still want it to be used, because why put something up unless it's something you're going to frame, obviously. But if it's a tea towel or something like that, I want to use it. And I don't save the best for guests or anything. because anyone who's here is my guest, even my husband. Now, I will not let him take this out and change the oil with it, but, I mean, let's be reasonable. But if my grandbabies get a ketchup stain or a cookie stain on it, I don't care. I'll get it out with the best, and then if not, I'll put a leaf over it or happily display it. Okay, so now I'm going to, let's finish this, because I don't like to, if you know me, I don't like to stretch my thread too far across, because I want it to look nice on the other side in case it gets turned over, or as nice as possible. So I'm just going to tack down a few stitches here and there, and actually go into the thread. And I'm going to do this a couple of times, and then I'll clip it. And make sure it's not going anywhere. And where are my scissors? And then I will do a little waist knot method. You've seen me do this a million times if you've watched my videos. And I will just start it over here, or start the knot over here. And then I'm going to do a little double loop method. So I'm going to go back down through the hole I just came up in, make my loop, come up, go through the loop, and now it's secure. And then, so it's not so big, I want the loop to go back down into the hole. And this fabric is it's harder to do it from. It's easier on cross stitch when you're doing it, but it's close enough. And then if I really want that little loop to go down, I just take the waist knot and pull it, and that'll bring it down. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple of these little French knots. If I can get this to stop. There we go. Make a couple of French knots, and I'm going to trim this waist knot so it doesn't get in our way here. If I can keep from poking myself with this needle. And I don't want to do too much because I want it to get more, I guess, looser at the top, because obviously the flowers that are more exposed, especially if they're dried flowers, the ones that are more exposed and everything to the elements, they're going to fall off more. So what I'll do is probably add, because baby's breath is real airy and sparse, and that's kind of what I'm going for. It's not kind of, it is what I'm going for. Okay, let's do a little, there we go, close those up. And then now let's do another flower. So we had I'm going to tell you a little story here. We had a scare last night with my daughter, and everything's okay. I guess I should start off like that. But she lives kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and she had a scare last night. Her husband is a firefighter, So his hours vary, and we, without giving too much personal information away, he works shift work, of course, as every first responder does. And he wasn't there last night. He had gone for a little bit and to see something for his granddad or whatever. And then he was going to go on into work, which is right around the corner from them. But she called my husband, her dad, and said that there's a man at her door. And of course, in no time, my husband got in the vehicle and he went flying down. They only live about maybe 5 minutes from us. My son and my daughter live very close. That is one thing I'm very, very blessed with. So we've got all our family is within reach of each other. But anyway, so of course she called her husband, and she finally got a hold of him, and he says, well, call 911 because that's what they can get there to you before anybody else can. So of course they responded faster and got there a lot quicker than even my husband. And they were there, and come to find out, the man that was looking, well, let's back up. He knocked on the door, and she said, yes. She didn't open the door. She says, yes. And he says, my car broke down and I need to borrow your hose. And she says, we don't have a hose. My husband keeps that put up when we're not using it, and I don't know where he put it. And he says, well, I really need it. And she says, I'm sorry, have a nice day. And he was lingering around on her porch. And can you imagine? So anyway, so that's when she first called her husband, and he said, call 911. And she did. And as she was waiting, she called her dad. So when Dawn got there, the cops were there, of course, and everything. And come to find out, this man, he says, yeah, we know, is this the guy? And they showed Lindsay a picture of the guy. And she said, yes, that's him. And come to find out, this guy they've been hearing all about him. He's been bothering a lot of the neighbors around there. And so she came and spent the night with us last night, and because she was all freaked out, of course. And her son, my grandson, who just turned 6, was trying to be all brave. It was so cute. And then he was brave until he got to our house. Then he didn't want to sleep by himself, of course. He wanted to sleep with Omi and Papa, and we're like, no, buddy, you need to go sleep in your other room, in our extra bedroom. So I got to end this thread here. We're getting too short. So he went in there, and of course he went right to sleep, because this was about midnight, and he has Vacation Bible School all week, so we really needed him to get to sleep, because it starts at 9 or 9:30 or something like that. So anyway, so they have, so that was crazy. And so we have no idea how long we will have guests in our house. So as far as this tablecloth's concerned, it may have little stories of Roman all over it. He's so cute. We went and got donuts this morning for him, and he wanted to sit on Omi's bed and watch his cartoons and eat donuts. And I said, well, you are the prince around here, buddy, but I don't want little sticky donut stuff all over my my quilt to my bed. He's so cute. Oh, the joys of being a grandmother. So anyway, yeah, we have tracking where we track each other. You know, if you have an iPhone, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. So, what was I saying? Oh, so I always worry about her, but it's good that she has tracking so we can track where she is if she ever gets stuck somewhere or something. Okay. I need to see. Maybe I'll branch out. Boy, that's a pun that was not intended, but it sounds like it was. I will branch out here. I do that all the time. I catch myself and I'm thinking, okay, I wonder if anyone else got it. I have a journaling channel, as you know, or if you don't know, now you do. But I have a Pinterest channel, and I have a, Tumblr, and I have a blog and everything. So I'm all over the place. But I always link those links there in the description. But so I was making, like with my chat GPT, a little image of what my dream is to open someday, and that's a little coffee shop. And this is probably, I'm sure there's one out there called this, but I was so proud of myself and I thought it was so brilliant, and I made an image of it. And I'll post it here if I remember in the edit. But it's a image of, the coffee shop's name is From the Ground Up. And get it, coffee grounds from the ground up, and making it from the ground up. And it's in a little white van, and it looks like it's in a scene of Paris. And it's so cute. So anyway, I've been doing that. And I was sitting here thinking of staining this. I thought of staining this with coffee or just whatever natural dyes I have. And I just didn't do it. And I thought, you know what? I would love a cup of coffee. But right now I don't have my car. My husband has my car because his needs an inspection sticker. So he's got to go get that done probably this weekend. And so anyway, I would love to have a cup of coffee. So I thought, well, I will just live vicariously through ChatGPT and have it make me my own coffee shop. Anyway, it's funny. I don't know what got me talking about that other than I wanted to coffee stain this. So I've just been doing all sorts of crazy things. I've got so many hobbies going on right now. And as you know, in my stitching channel, I've got a quilt that I'm still doing, that I haven't touched in a while, but I need to get back in it. And I'm doing my 4th grandson, and who is also my 5th grandchild, is due probably any day. My daughter-in-law, she's not due till July 13th, but this is her 4th, and she usually has them pretty quick. Her longest labor, I think, was 2 hours. So she goes pretty fast, and she has large babies. And she's teeny tiny, and she does this all natural. And I tell you what, if there was an award for Woman Mother of the Year, it'd be her. It is crazy what she can do. Anyway, very strong, beautiful woman. And she homeschools her kids. She's such a good mother. Anyway, not because she homeschools her kids. I'm just saying which is a good thing to me, but she's just a very good mother. She is very attentive and just good. And the kids are well behaved and sweet. And of course, I'm a grandmother. I'm going to brag about it. But anyway, we thought she was in labor yesterday, and I thought, Anna, you are already I mean, you're only 35 weeks. She says, I know. And I said, well, lay on your left side and drink a lot of water because sometimes when you get dehydrated. And she says, well, I was cleaning house like crazy today and yesterday. And I went, uh-oh, she's nesting. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's in labor or anything. And so she got on her left side and she says, that worked. It stopped him. And I thought, I still got the wisdom going here. Anyway, so I've had that going on. So I'm preparing his little Christmas stocking. I'm cross-stitching that and hoping that it will get done by Christmas. Of course, it's only June, the middle of June right now as I make this, but I would like for it to be done, even though he won't be obviously old enough to remember, but just for pictures and just for fun, I want to be able to put some little teething rings or something there, have Santa put those in there. And then I've got some onesies, and I will be showing those as well in my stitching videos. I have some little onesies, and I'll be embroidering on them, doing some embroidery work on the front of it. Anna likes anything that's real woodsy and things like that, and she's a fall girl like I am. She loves fall, anything to do with fall, so she wants, little mushrooms and stuff. So I'm going to do something like that, and I said, well, that's right up my alley because I love neutrals. So I'll do some little brown mushrooms with maybe some little white dots or something. And then I'll probably do like a little wood scene or whatever, with a bunch of pine trees and things like that. So I'll definitely post that little journey with you. And you can see how I embroider. Why is that hard for me to say today? How I embroider on knit fabric, which is not easy. It is not easy at all. Now I got some of that material. There's some material that it's kind of a tearaway material. Now it's not what you're thinking about. It's not the water soluble stuff. I can get water soluble material and do it that way, but this is it looks like a very, very loose weave cross stitch. And you just pull the strings. You just sit there, and after you've done your work, you pull the strings and keep pulling all these little things out until all of that material's gone, and all that's left is the embroidery work, and it sits easier on your knitted fabric or on your sweater or whatever it is that you're embroidering on or cross stitching on. But the weave is too sparse and loose, and I don't want to catch my needle in part of those strings to where I won't be able to pull it through when I'm done and I hope I'm making sense, pull the tearaway or the whatever fabric away, because this pierces a lot of threads and things in embroidery. Now I can do it in cross stitch, but I can control that more, and I could control it, but I don't want to sit there and just not be able to enjoy it. In other words, I don't want to, because it would take me forever and a day to get it done, and I don't want to do that, even though I do slow stitch. Okay, so that is not really a flower I like, but you know what? It'll probably get a cute little ketchup stain on it, or an Oreo stain, or a chocolate stain, or a turkey gravy stain, and that is okay. So I have that. I have the Christmas stocking, and I'll probably show you glimpses of that as I get it. I've got a lot done on that. And of course my quilt, and then I do tea towels. I love to do tea towels for people, and especially like the sick at church or whatever. I like to bring a covered dish with the tea towel to wipe their fingers on, although they never do wipe their fingers on it. I said, really, y'all, if you mess it up, I can fix it. And it won't cost you anything. I can fix it. If a stitch breaks, I can fix it. But I try to do all my work where the stitches won't break. And then they say, well, I'm scared I'll get something on it. I said, well, if you do, it'll be a little story piece, and I can always make you another one. So, but my friends refuse to use their towels, and so they'll frame them. It's so funny. I've got one friend, and I make her something, and she frames it, and I'll say, you don't have to frame it, silly. Yes, I do. It's too pretty to use. And I said, oh my goodness, no. So you go into any antique store and you see all this needlework, and you see all the little stains on it, and that's how they did it in the day. They didn't have embroidery machines a long time ago. They did it all by hand. So it's made to be used and loved. And I have no problem with people saving pretty towels for guests or have things just to look at. I'm just telling you how I do it, how we do it here. And even my best china, it gets used for my family as it does guests, because my family is just as important to me, if not more important, obviously, to me. Now, I'm not going to give my best china to my 2-year-old grandson. And I probably won't give my tea towel for his little face to wipe off either, just like I wouldn't give it to my husband to change the oil in his car with. So, it's reasonable. Okay, you know what? This is not too far of a stretch. So, I'm just going to do this. And what I'm going to do, instead of going all the way here and starting with the branch, I'm going to start with the flower. So we're going to have this random flower floating in midair for a second. And then I will bridge it with, if I can keep from hitting this camera, I will bridge it with the stem. And the reason why I have this camera here so close is because I have to hold this so close so I can see it. And there is no telling how many times I've gotten out of frame here. And I am so sorry if I have. I will try to do better with that. But I've got to get my eyes rechecked because even my reading glasses aren't strong enough. So I have to kind of get this up close to my face. But in order to do that, I want you to see it too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see it if I'm all up here and the camera's down there. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's connect this. Okay, if I hit this one more time, I'm going to scream. No, I won't scream. That would hurt. I like to pierce the stem through to make it kind of continuous, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay, do you see, let me show you, I'll get through this. Do you see how that's open there? You can tell that I'm using 2 threads. I don't want that. So what I like to do, see, this looks like it's 1 thread, it's not. So what I like to do is whip my stems around. I like to go just a little bit just do extra stuff. I'm very extra. I like to go the distance, the whole distance, and get it. Otherwise, I will see it. I will be sitting there eating turkey and zero in on that little thing and not be able to enjoy my Thanksgiving. Okay, not really, but, well, you never know. You never know with Melissa Lambert here. And by the way, I'm using 3865. It's a whiter white than the blanc or blank, but the white thread that everybody sees, the BLANC, I think it's how DMC spells it, which is European. And so this is a little bit whiter than that white. And the reason why I'm going even whiter is because I wanted it to show without being in your face type showing. I wanted it to be a little bit more contrast on this oatmeal color of fabric. So I wanted it to show just a little bit more, because the other white, even though you can't see it and it looks white, it's got just a tint, barely a tint of cream to it. It's not a very pure white. And I think there's a whiter white than this one even. I don't know, I'll have to look that up. I knew it and then I don't remember now. Let's do our little waist knot again. I have got to get my eyes checked. The eye doctor who my son-in-law used to work for, he's a very good eye doctor, but he does senior citizens, and I'm not a senior citizen yet, but he does senior citizens, and he always looked at my eyes for free, and he says, and he still does, he said that I have the very beginnings of cataracts. Great. I said, no, because I love to stitch. And he says, well, the good news is that it is fixable. And he says, but it's not big enough to worry about surgery quite yet. So I'm only 56, so maybe I've got a little bit longer. However, I can tell my eyesight's not as good, so I'm going to have him look at it. And he was going to go ahead and give me a new prescription, and I've lost a ton of weight so far, but I'm thinking my eye prescription has changed because of that. So, because, if you gain a lot of weight, or if you lose a lot of weight, or pregnancy, whatever, all of that can change your vision very easily. So, I think that's what the issue is, because now even my reading glasses don't work. I can only see perfect about if I have something, here's my eyes, say here's my eyes, if something's about that close to my eyes. And that's why I'm doing a lot of this. So we will see. Okay, I have no idea what I'm making here, besides a big mess. I was trying to get a flower out of this little start. I just hate knots on the back. I don't know why. It drives me crazy. Even the Christmas stocking, because the Christmas stocking's going to be lined on the other side, on the back side. But I just don't like to have knots on the back. I don't know why. I was taught with knots. I guess it's because I do so many pieces that, like tea towels, where you can see it on the back. And I want the back of my tea towel to look exactly, or very, very closely, like the front of my tea towel. And that's very intricate work. And I like to do intricate work. I like to do a lot of very advanced stitching. And someday, you know what? I might just do that with you guys. I might do some very, very advanced things so y'all can see, because I try to keep this beginner friendly, but some of you might be very experienced stitchers and may want to see some new techniques like hardanger or hardanger. I don't know, people pronounce it different ways, but that which is very advanced, and that's where you make little holes in your fabric by, it's not really cut work. I don't know. I'll have to, if you look it up, it's hard, Anger. So look that up and you can see what I'm talking about. But I was thinking about doing something like that. And I wanted to do it on a table, this table runner, but this is not the fabric to do that with. So I went with this other delicate method. And hardanger, okay, now I can't say it right. Anyway, that's a very delicate technique. And white on white work, I love to do. That's another very advanced technique, but it is beautiful. And since I love white, I want to do some white on white work. And this is almost, it's not really white on white work, but I call it that. We'll make up our own term and say white on cream. Actually, it's not, because there's green on green work. It's just whatever you want to do, because I've seen the green and it's real pretty. But I love white on white, especially a white monogram on white linen. Oh, it's so pretty. I love that delicate, soft stuff. That's why I like baby's breath so much. And my whole home is got baby's breath all over, and I just love it. And you know what I do on my Christmas tree is I do little tiny white lights, little fairy lights all over my Christmas tree, and then I stick this baby's breath all in it, and it's beautiful. It looks like a huge baby's breath Christmas tree, and it's really pretty. Last year I surprised the whole family and did all my childhood ornaments, so it was full of color, and everybody was about to have a heart attack. They saw color in my home, and I said, y'all, I always put color in my home during the holidays. Halloween, I'll put orange and purple and black and all that, and Christmas, I'll either do blue and white, or I'll do red and green, or I'll do a lime green and a pink, or whatever, I'm always changing that up, or silver and gold, which that's more neutral. But I said, y'all know that. They said, I know, but not a whole bunch of colors at once. And I said, yeah, it was kind of shocking, and I did take it down fairly quickly after Christmas. But you know what? I used to color back in the 90s. I colored all my walls a different color, and my kitchen was a bright red, like a cardinal red. And I loved it, and I loved it. And then 2 months later, I was so tired of it. I got so sick of color. And then I just wanted everything bright white. And I have not looked back since. I went to a blue and white stage. And I hear that a lot of people are like that. They like, they don't like a lot of color, bright. I guess it's because, well, to me, I love going to people's homes and seeing it, but I couldn't live with it because it's almost loud to me. Colors are mood changers for me, and I guess it's a loud mood for me. I don't know. But, I mean, it's a happy mood. Color is happy, but it's not calming for me. Just like my white on white is probably, or white on cream isn't calming for someone else. So you get what I'm saying. It's all in preference, but my preferences are neutral, earthy, very muted tones. I don't mind color as long as it's muted. Looks like it came from the attic from years ago, that kind of muted. My favorite shade besides white is brown. I love brown. I love the look of different chocolate taupes and all of that. Coffee colors and coffee with a lot of milk, or coffee, with a little bit of milk in it. You know what I'm talking about? So I like that kind of stuff. And I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just stitching and talking. What am I doing? Let's see. Okay. Oh, we'll just pretend like that's a flower and call it a day. Just sitting here. I don't even realize it's kind of like driving. All of a sudden you're at your exit and you think, how in the world did I get here already? You're an autopilot. So I guess that's what I'm doing. That is one thing about stitching like this, though, and not having a really a pattern, just kind of doing your own thing, is you can watch TV or watch a movie. And I do this a lot. I watch TV with my husband. Right now we're watching the Star Wars series, and I will stitch on this or my quilt. I'll do that, and I don't have to concentrate and focus. Now, the baby's Christmas stocking, obviously I do, but I have to focus on that because it's got a pattern that you have to follow. But most time I like to do my slow stitching at night. Well, I am so sorry I keep hitting this, but that can't be helped because I need a tripod is what I need, something very steady. This is kind of that my camera is on is a, not a bungee cord, but it's kind of a little, it's a thick wire. And so if you move it around too much, if you hit it, it's going to bounce just like a coiled wire would. I don't know what you call it. Looks like a little snake or something that's got a clamp on it. It's made for phones, but I use it for filming because I haven't got a tripod. We had one and I cannot find it. So guess what? I think we're going to have to go out and buy one because I'm tired of hitting this this thing. Okay, what did I do? See, here I'm doing it again. I'm doing some kind of quirky little flower here. Let's fix that. Looks like a little hand. Oh, goodness me. Let's see. There we go. Wanting it to look like petals. That's not what I wanted. Okay, Melissa. Gotta focus here. There we go. There we go. Mistake fixed. Okay. So now, get my glasses back on. And we're going to see what we need. And I'm going to look through the camera lens here so I can see. Because sometimes when you see it up close, you don't see the bigger picture of what it needs. I don't want it really heavy. I want it to be light and airy. But this branch looks like it needs to be trimmed off because it's lost all its flowers. So maybe, but see, I don't want a bunch of flowers on this side. I want them here. Maybe I'll leave it alone for now. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I'm going to leave it alone for now. And then if it bothers me later, I will work on I will just add more to it. So let's stop our stitch, and then I will show you the final result and how I styled it at the end here. So if you have watched this long, thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for all your attention, and I will see you on the next thread.